Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Nova Covert Ops on Starcraft 2 on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we begin Dark Skies. I'm gonna be honest, I like this mission. We're here for way too fucking long. This mission could have had 10 minutes in the middle of it, just cut off, and it would actually be a significantly better mission. Because, to be frank, once you actually have your defensive barrier of either Liberators or Liberators and Siege Tanks or Battlecruisers set up, this mission fucking plays itself. I like this mission, I do, but it has some pretty significant fucking problems in it. The biggest one of which, at least on normal mode, is specifically the fact that since we start with this particular base, and we are meant to actually be defending against an absolutely absurd amount of Protoss forces, they give us 2 additional resource bases that we can actually pull from. And because we're playing as Nova, we actually have, I believe at this point, automated refineries. So yeah, the big issue that we end up having is the fact that we end up with a shitload more money than we can actually spend. To the point where one of the big things that I recommend doing is actually building a second starport with Tech Lab after you get your fusion core up. That way you can actually have double battlecruiser production going, because battlecruisers take a long time.
Incoming orders.
Good things happen for those who wait for battlecruiser production.
They do, to be perfectly honest. So this is what you want to do on every single one of your first 3 lanes. You set up your starting siege tank and a starting liberator in these lanes, and you get to effectively ignore them for the rest of the mission.
Bad news?
I'm not kidding. You can actually ignore those positions effectively for almost the rest of the mission. We will be reinforcing them with battlecruisers a bit later, but only because we need to actually spend our monies, and we have to build battlecruisers in order to spend our monies.
SCV ready.
I really wish that the unit production on Nova wasn't as slow as it is, because it's one of the bigger things that end up being an issue in this mission specifically. Because I would like to actually play this map with Marines and Goliaths and such, but unfortunately, you can't realistically do that because that requires you to have 3 barracks and 3 factories going at all times, and having 3 barracks and 3 factories, although definitely means that you could, in theory, support all 3 of these starting lanes, it also specifically means that you need to actually have all these resource locations going. It's just a lot to manage right off the gate,
Well, we're going back to StarCraft 101, which is get your next base going as soon as possible.
Maybe not as soon as possible, to be perfectly honest, because I actually prefer to get tech upgrades first, and then let those tech upgrades carry my units, especially when it comes to defenses. Let the tech upgrades carry my units to victory, especially in this mission, because there is a lot of
They'll carve through our forces.
there is a lot of resource caches floating around the north eastern parts of the map, specifically Vespane pallets. So, one of the other really amazing things that we get to show off now is the Blazefire Gunblade. And the Blazefire Gunblade has got 2 really important aspects of it that you need to know. First, its anti-air weapon is fucking absolutely incredible. But aside from its anti-air mode, it's actually a melee weapon. It will actually deal a significant amount of damage on its normal strikes to virtually anything that the Protoss can throw at her. However, it comes with the caveat of that she needs to be in melee range for it. So she ends up not actually being all that powerful against a lot of the smaller melee forces that the Protoss bring out, specifically like these Zealots and these Vanguards. The other really important thing to note is that the Blazefire Gunblade gives her access to this new spell, Army of One, and yeah, this does 100 damage 5 times. This does 100 damage 5 times to randomly selected targets in the area, and will effectively delete a majority of the Protoss forces for you if you let it.
Engaging the enemy.
At random, huh?
Although it is random, it can't actually, it can't overkill things, So there's that.
Overtime. Well, butter my biscuit.
I'm gonna butter your bread.
Now, is it going to make my bread better or worse when you butter it?
Nova here.
It's gonna make your bread butter.
Executing.
Very much butter than it was before.
What Nova is honestly doing out in the front lines is specifically looking for these resource pallets, because there are a bunch of Vespane and mineral pallets out in the front lines that she can pick up. They are actually denoted on the minimap. I just can't read the minimap from here in order to make that connection. So
Bad news.
I do recommend for these other bases to specifically max out on a Vespane production first, and then worry about mineral production, because battlecruisers are comparatively more Vespane expensive than mineral expensive,
In the rear with the gear.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, as I recall, the battlecruiser production is largely limited by the amount of Vespane you have, not minerals.
Yeah.
Although it does require a lot of each.
It does require it is 400, 300 for each of them, but oh look, our battlecruisers have tactical jump, meaning that whoosh.
The Taldarim will probably strike these areas soon. Your support
It takes a battlecruiser approximately 10 seconds to successfully execute a tactical warp, and once done, they can just they end up being defensive steroids for your already defended positions. As I mentioned in the last part, I am under the impression that the best equipment piece for Nova to actually have on her is specifically the stim pack infusion, because it not only increases her movement speed, it increases her attack speed, and it gives her a small amount of health regen as well. So it allows her to stay in the fights for a really, really long time.
You would want to preserve the units that have the highest attack efficiency, and with the new Blazefire Gunblade that we got, Nova is still number one.
Yeah. Oh look, a bunch of Void Rays. Cloak, then Army of One.
Nice. And do it again.
Unfortunately, without the Apollo infantry suit, she can't cast Army of One more than once about every minute. With the Apollo infantry suit, she can cast it effectively 4 times in a minute, but that's only because Apollo infantry suit gives her both higher starting energy and a higher energy regen. It is nuts how busted the Apollo infantry suit is. I have not actually played any of Nova Covert Ops on hard mode yet, even at time of recording. However, I am under the impression that hard mode is mostly, at least from my perspective, about figuring out what equipment that you want Nova to have and how much you're willing to lean on her in order to get stuff done. Because this mission is honestly a very clear demonstration of how much Nova can actually do if you're willing to micro her for the entire mission. She can just shut down one of these lanes on her own.
The Taldarim's attacks are intensifying. Our outer defenses won't last unless we permanently station reinforcements there.
But we've already done that, Mr. Matt.
Protoss attack forces can converge.
Man, don't you see? The mission's not going to end until we take out another 1,495 units.
units. It's okay. You can just simplify it to 15.
I'll make it happen.
It's very simple.
Do my best to keep it safe.
When they start coming in mass, we'll get to wipe out more of their units. And then the more units we wipe out, the closer they get to being routed.
Yes.
They are driving themselves into the ditch.
Not slowly, but yes.
I'll make it happen.
Okay, Nova, first I want you to go here, then I want you to go here, and don't forget to pick this up. And you promised, Matt, that you were going to get this one. Okay? Off you go.
Engaging the enemy.
Be careful, Nova. More enemy void rays are flying in from the right side.
Nova, why are you helping these vermin?
Because you're an asshole,
People
Alarak.
here. You already know that. You just don't care. Status report.
Also,
Add-on complete.
Valerian / Matt Horner's medics all actually have the ability to heal. Actually have the ability to not only heal our units but also heal mechanical units as well. So if you post your siege tanks, liberators, and battlecruisers just over them, they effectively become immortal for most of this mission.
Not enough minerals.
Nice. Well, hence the autoplay aspect that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Nova, the first squadrons in the Dominion fleet.
But
have
all
arrived.
you have to do is just get them set up, and then they'll do the rest.
Yep.
Our Gorgon-class battlecruisers are particularly effective against heavy resistance.
Particularly so because this is a mission that does not end until you defeat all the other enemy units. But if all the other enemy units are going to be drawn to your base and your forces, all you have to do is just wait for them to show up, and they'll just get auto-attacked to death.
All right. So, now we get introduced to one of our primary defensive steroids. It's actually an offensive steroid, the Gorgon Battlecruisers. The Gorgon Battlecruisers are really awesome. You're supposed to cast them every single time that they're up, regardless of who's coming, because they move very, very slowly. And it's important that they move very slowly, because since they move so very slowly, they end up getting to attack a bunch of stuff. In order to get the achievement for this, at least on
Holy
normal,
shit.
in order to get the achievement for this, at least on normal mode, you do have to use the Gorgon Battlecruisers every single time that they're available, even from the immediate start of the mission. I think I managed to actually score it here, but just fucking barely.
Status report.
The other
Base
achievement that's
is
available
under
for this
attack.
mission, and is why we're going battlecruisers, is specifically to Yamato cannon 20 units to death. This is actually easier than it sounds. You just got to build a bunch of battlecruisers. Remember that they have Yamato cannon and actually use them on the incoming waves. But despite how easy that sounds, it actually is a bit more complicated than that, because it means having your battlecruisers either all in one group where they can all use tactical warp drive onto something and then individually targeting your Yamato cannons, or have all your battlecruisers spread out and responding to incoming minor waves. I prefer the latter personally because, it allows me to play this as a basic defense mission. And Yamato! I think we missed though. Damn it.
SCV ready.
Medic!
I was actually wrong. Matt's medics don't actually have the ability to heal mechanical units. Oh well.
Yeah. SCV ready.
Not enough.
The one of the other things that you need to remember is that battlecruisers eat up a lot of fucking supply. So it is important that you actually are throwing down supply depots and maybe consider actually using the supply extension from your orbital commands. The orbital command is not a thing that we've actually played with all that much, but it's very specifically something that is really good. It's really good for this mission because we're playing so heavily on defense. The ability to drop mules and extended supply depots means that you should never really be suffering from lack of money, because mules are, I think they're 2.5 times better than normal SCVs.
I can't build here.
Engaging the enemy.
Nova use army of one in order to take out the those are called havocs, right? The Taldarim sentries are called havocs.
Yeah.
Look at all of our battlecruisers, Mr. Cloud. Aren't they pretty?
They're starting to cluster.
Patching you through.
Confirm that last.
And remember, every battlecruiser comes complete with a suit, a sailor hat, and a wooden pipe.
I don't think the wooden pipe is true, but the suit and admiral's hat is definitely the case.
What is it?
Tactical jump.
Take it slow.
So what's new in the world of Cloud as we continue setting up our defenses is.
Alliteration. Not much new going on. A lot of the usual.
I'm going.
Oh, really?
And Yamato Gun. Yay, we took down the Havoc. The Taldarim Havoc, because I don't think we actually played with it during the normal campaign, increases the range of all targets that it's buffing, as well as gives them slightly more attack speed. I think it's attack speed that it grants over attack
Take
damage.
caution. Wrathwalkers are coming in from the left side.
Strictly business.
Left side, right side. You know, in map and geography, we call that the Northwest. Because
When it's on the mini-map, it's the left.
Patching you through.
isn't it amazing how the technology can just simplify things?
Yeah. So, because Nova's got access to a very specifically a very powerful anti-air weapon, these Wrathwalkers are not a threat. Also, that's the Wrathwalker.
Holy shit. Oh, they're walking.
Bringing out the big gun.
We also have access to nukes.
I think you launched the nuke a little too late there.
Let's see. Yep, I did hit one of them.
See, the idea is if the enemy is in motion, try aiming at where they're going to be.
Yeah, I
not
was
where
doing
they're
that,
standing.
Mr. Cloud, but my nuke is actually still too slow.
It's a good learning experience.